So this is my angle. It's the only angle I use. Obviously, there's excellent lighting in the gym. Serious question. People were like, oh, why are you posting such emotional videos? I know monsters who harm you and then try to cover up after breaking you and only acknowledging the trauma that they put you through are watching everything that you're doing on social media. You don't get to tell me how my mental health matters and how I heal. And I am saying it publicly and openly. What I take serious issue with the fact, for 7 years now, I've been operating in toxic workspace. Never did I think you would hand me how little you have regard for me by literally saying, now what? Answer to WSIB, Mr. Basri, because you are the contact person for the employer because you chose to collude with an organization that represents one of 2 organizations that subjected me to serious harm, serious trauma. And let's not talk about the re-traumatization that I am expected to take part in. But don't forget, mental health matters, yada, yada, yada. Yes, it matters. And you attempted to gaslight one of the strongest mental health warriors your corrupt organizations have ever come across. Sorry, not sorry. See you at every single court possible. This is not about money. This is about when you pretend to care and someone calls you out on the inconsistencies, do better. This all started off with, hey, how come we're not following these policies? Hey, how come we're not being ethical behind closed doors when the membership doesn't know what you're doing? There's a reason they're going semi-viral, and I am absolutely not sorry, because what you wanted was for me to give up on the fight, for me to either die, fall apart mentally, or become suicidal or homicidal. That's the only time the system cares about mental health, right? But don't worry, I'm not suicidal or homicidal, yada, yada, yada. Did you know, I'm sure they know, seeing my resume multiple times, that I worked as a social service worker, right? And so I was mandated to report there. So imagine the audacity underestimating me because I was still trying to get assessments for ADHD. You all did this to yourselves, and I am goddamn proud of myself because I don't know how many others you all did too. I know CAS was nasty. I did not think you harmed your own members. That is vile. I always knew the employers X, Y, and Z, but for these other oppressors whose details of nastiness I have not even disclosed yet, which will be disclosed as soon as my heart wishes, because hashtag ADHD. I had to work 2-3 times as hard to get here. And then when you add the layer of oppression and gaslighting and, making me doubt my sanity and my reality after giving me a president's award, me and the group that I helped to found. And the irony is that that name was my little baby that I was like, hey, I was the one who helped brainstorm it, and I'm not taking any credit from the other members. We all had a significant role because we are all advocates, but we are also advocates who keep being harmed in these very same spaces where you read your performative garbage policies. They're not garbage if you follow them. They're not garbage if you do right, but they're absolutely garbage if you try to break somebody who's already being subjected through serious harm from the Children's Aid Society that you tout at multiple trainings that they're known to oppress. What's the research going to say now? I'm done. And I am so brilliant, I'm going to be leading all of this research. You underestimated my intelligence. You tried to harm me. If this is not karma, I don't know what is. You all did this to yourselves, and I'm done. I dare anyone to come for anything. Talk to WSIB. I have rights. It's bad enough you broke all of my human rights, my charter rights, my my anything rights, but now to go and break privacy. Don't worry, Privacy Commissioner, I know you already enabled the PLCAS in spite of a 241-page document outlining that they also changed their records. And when I talked to this so-called guy yesterday at the Ombudsman, who's now the third person from the Ombudsman office, responsible for the CAS, having the audacity to ask me if I know what the Child and Family Youth Services Act is, why don't you go to the Child and Family Review Services and ask the last lady that we had like 2 days ago, when my lawyer asked this person about their training, and oh, this is not a place to ask about training. You know what I put into the chat in live, because I'm not an idiot? I put, imagine me not liking a family whose students I teach and saying, you know what, forget it, I'm just gonna skip the parent-teacher interview, and then my boss is gonna have my back, my lawyer is gonna have my back. That's literally happening. So Ombudsman, don't you dare send anyone else at me, because this is all going to go disgustingly viral, because others have been subjected to worse harm than I have. I was just strong enough to keep standing 7 years later. Never will this end in the way you guys anticipated and tried to coercively destroy me.